Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, and Kakwadash. Double honors into the elders, apostles, and bishops, the GMS Great Millstone, who rule well, teach and edifying, peace and blessings. To you sincere, Akyam, Wa'akwad, in this household of faith. My name is Yeshaya.
Tugs upon you.
And we the brothers from the GMS Arizona Church and Ottawa Ratazag to make an edifying video. Going into this here little excerpt, man. One of the brothers posted this, man, and it's facts. Days are starting to feel like wake up, take a shower, do a couple things, and then all of a sudden it's evening. It's time to get going to sleep and shit. Days are passing by so suddenly, and this is saying that the earth has suddenly started spinning faster, causing days to become shorter. And what is that, man? That's a physical a physical point that the Lord is, causing the days to become shorter, man. As the scriptures say, lest these days be shortened for the elect's sake, man. Or no flesh be saved, man. We in times, man, where shit is hellish, man. We're in times where Esau is ruling and his wrath is starting to come down, more and more abundantly, man. And, we're in times where the Lord is going to begin to visit this earth. All right. But let's get to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25 real quick. And he says, and he started right at 25. And it says, and he spake great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. This devil Esau, man. This devil has tried to change just about everything that the Lord has set up here on his earth, man. He's changed even that, like the scripture said, changed times and laws. Who put him in charge of what year we're in? Who put him in charge of how you're supposed to structure your days, man? The Lord has it structured from evening to evening. This devil got you on 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. on some stupid shit like that, from dusk to dusk, basically, man. Dusk to black to black,
The new year begins in the middle of winter.
That's stupid, And this is the thing, man. This is something that, we look past Esau, man. We look past what this devil says. We don't, we don't believe what this fucking ultimate nigga says, man. He's always thinking about how to deceive people and how to further his enterprise, man. And the Lord ain't gonna let that happen. Okay, because at the height of his sufficiency, he shall be brought into straits. So for brothers and sisters out there, man, being the fact that these days are being shortened, the fact that, even in a physical way, the world is spinning faster. The Lord's preparing this world, man. He's coming soon. So with that short amount of time that you have during your day, we all have to push forward to start devoting more time to the Lord. We all have to push forward to be more spiritual, man. To sow more to the spirit. I got a real quick precept, unless you got some.
Oh, you can get the precept.
Con. And the scriptures talk about this in the New Testament. How you spell corruption?
C-O.
Oh, I thought it was C-U.
P.
Okay, come. This is Galatians chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 7. It says, be not deceived. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And in these times, we have no fucking time to be sowing to that flesh, man. These days being shortened, it almost feels like you wake up, go to work, and go to sleep, man. And the times that you have that are so-called free times, does the scriptures not saying, Sirach, a learned man is given by opportunity of leisure? Your leisure time isn't your fucking leisure time. None of ours, man. We all try our best, being led by example of the apostles, bro, and the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua and the Lord and the prophets before time, that our leisure time is really the Lord's time, man. That's the time that we give up as his living sacrifice. Every time that bros make videos, every time that you read, every time you fast, pray, every time that you watch videos, you are offering yourself as a living sacrifice to the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and you are also succumbing to the baptism of the Lord, a daily baptism, man, being cleansed by these living waters, And this is truly a blessing to be a part of this truth, man, to be able to tap into that spiritual realm. You know, how much more would you tap in if you're able to physically see it? You know, we have a hope that we cannot physically see, man. We don't know the weight of the things that are happening right now on a total level. But we have these scriptures, man. We have the prophets. You know, we have a sure word of prophecy of the times that we're in, man, of the things that are going on around us. So with all that being said, you know, that should be conclusive enough for us all to push forward towards, you know, being more spiritual, man, and getting away from this world, man, fleeing from Babylon, fleeing from this world, you know, spiritually, man.
Come on, bro. Precept right here is Romans 13:11. It says, "In that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation near when we believe." You know, and, you know, the world's spinning faster. Time is, you know, shorter. Days are shorter. So, you know, what's next? You know, what's next? You know, which is ultimately, you know, prophecy. But, you know, the kingdom to come. But
right.
Before the kingdom comes, this place is going to get destroyed. You know, Jacob's trouble has to be fulfilled. So we're entering into a new era, you know, of prophecy. You know, for you know, shit's about to, you know, start getting intense. But it says, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. So, you know, now's the time to, you know, arise and, you know, get your mind right. You know, because one, the Lord is literally showing you that, you know, the folly and all that stuff, this shit's ceasing. So what are you going to give your time, you know, unto that's so important? You know, the Lord is, he's cutting all that shit down as we speak.
Right.
It says, and let us put on the armor of light, and let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
That's right.
And, you know, what did Yahushua say? He said, take heed to yourself, lest your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. Because it's easy to get entangled in this shit, but we know that our salvation is near, you know, meaning all this shit, you know, is about to pass away, you know, and we about to enter into a new glory. But you know, we have to be mentally prepared first, you know. We got to be tested and whatnot. So, but
right.
the mindset is looking past this place, you know, for the kingdom at the end of the day.
Right.
That's
you know, and ultimately, man, if you're not sowing to the spirit, then and you're sowing to the flesh, you know, ultimately, man, if you sowing to the flesh in Babylon, you sowing to Esau. If you, no matter where you are in the world, man, Babylon has that fucking ultimate, like, his wine has been drunken all throughout the world. So if you sow into the flesh by worrying about these women, worrying about money, whatever the fuck it is that you're worried about, man, whatever that you think is more important than Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're ultimately basically submitting yourself to Esau and you know, evil, man. You know, we want to be submitted to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, we don't want to be judged by Esau. We want to be judged by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We want to be in the Lord's hand, under his wing, man. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, the sincere are always gonna have that spirit to do. You know, Lord willing, we all stay sincere, man. All persevere and hang on to this spirit. But this is 1 Peter's chapter 5 and verse 8, and it says, actually I'll start at verse 6. It says, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that he may exalt you in due time. And that's what we're doing right now, man. Humbling ourselves before the Lord. This is a humbling process for the elect, because they're going to be set up in a kingdom where you can't fucking lose. It'll be impossible to lose or feel bad. It just won't happen. You ain't gonna have no you ain't gonna wake up your lower back kicking. You ain't gonna have no itchy ass eyes. You ain't gonna have no dry scalp. You know, those are small things, but how much more everything else that we never even been accustomed to. We're gonna be accustomed to perfection, and that's gonna be the status quo for the rest of eternity. So, you know, let us go through our humbling right now, man. And on the other end of the spectrum, this world is going through a major exalting. It's going through their exalting, man. The women are as proud as they've ever fucking been in history. You know, when have you ever seen women this fucking proud? You know, this off their rocker, this whorish and this masculine. Does the scripture not saying the last days a woman shall compass a man? You know, when have you ever seen the cost of living
and just being able to have a house, a home, and maybe an animal or two be so fucking expensive? When have you ever seen rape, rob, murder, really robbery, usury, unrighteousness, man? Wickedness. When have you seen wickedness this high and exalted? We've never seen it on this high before, man. And it's prepared for a major shutdown. All right, but those that follow Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, we in that spirit of understanding to know what's actually going on. But it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, man. And who is it that he's going to be able to devour? Those that are drunk off of Babylon's fucking juice, man. And you ain't even drunk off that good shit either, man. Most people that are drunk on Babylon's juice, they drinking that 99-cent shot. That bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That Four Loko. They drinking that fucking beatbox. They ain't drinking no... They ain't drinking, like, you know what I mean? But, those that he won't devour, those that are devoted to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai in these times, man. And the Lord looks at your sincerity and the things that you do when you have leisure time.
I got a precept, 2 Ezra 15:5. I'll read down to the 9th verse. But it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful words are fulfilled. So basically, backing up what you're saying, wickedness is at an all-time high. So how much more can this last? And that's another thing. Look at what Esau's doing. Spraying the air, polluting the water, just all different types of wickedness. Like, the Lord literally has to shorten the days unless no flesh would be saved. If this man were to continue on at the rate he's going at right now, we would all be through. Right? But that's why the Lord is speeding up the days, so that way the Lord can come back and take this nigga out. But in the meantime, the Lord is going to send judgments, in the meanwhile. But it says, therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. All right, and the cries of the elect are being heard day and night. The prayers, the groanings, all that is being heard. And the Lord, he's about to make a speedy deliverance for his elect. 1 hour. Exactly. It's going to take the Lord 1 hour, all right, to destroy this place and deliver his elect. It was really going to take, in a twinkling or a blink of an eye, for the elect to be delivered. But, like, this place got to go, all right? I also have one more scripture, too.
Yeah, you can close it out with that.
Because it's going to get so bad out here that, let me just get it right quick. Damn.
What?
All right, this is the 2nd Ezra 16 and 16. It says, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
Right.
All right, so it's going to get so bad out here, as Ezra was saying, woe is me, basically personifying that it's going to get ugly out here. All right, and if the Lord ain't shorting the days, we'd all be through. All right, because this man's Revelation 12:12, you quoted, the devil shall come down having great wrath, because they had but a short time. So this devil, he's showing his horns. All right, and the Lord got to put a stop to it before it gets too out of hand.
That's right.
All right, but at the end of the day, the elect gonna be fine. All right, and that's in which we striving to be. So with that, and listen out. I want to give all praise and glory and honor to
Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Akakwadash.
Till next time, shalom.
Shalom.